Good morning, folks. Excuse me. Right now, you know me, working through the hills, about to tackle some shit. Let me show y'all. Go ahead. See that hill right there? I think I'm gonna try to sprint up that sucker when I get there with my 40 pounds extra weight, which, you know, I used to weigh 80 pounds more than I do now. So it's only about half of my starting weight from last year. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is, and I'm going to show you about relevancy, and I'm going to show you how when you talk about certain things, you know, it's not how not to present a straw man argument or, you know, take attention away from one thing into another. So I want to talk about Sequoia. Again, Sequoia Turner. You know, the people at that Wendy's, all of whom were responsible for Sequoia's death, you know, they did this because they wanted to show how Black Lives mattered. Well, they took a little black life in the process, just like they took the life of those kids, those teenagers in the Chaz Chop Zone in Seattle. You know, apparently their Black lives didn't matter. So when you talk about Black Lives Matter, not caring about Black lives, well, in those instances, they didn't. But I don't think that was the real message. I don't think the real message for those type of people are Black Lives Matter. They proclaim it to be, but that's not what it is. Clearly, because they took Black lives while doing so. There's something about, you know, having that atmosphere where no one has any control over what they're doing. People are taking advantage of the fact that, oh, we don't want police in here. We don't want any authority. So we're just gonna do whatever we want. And we're gonna use this fake message to justify our actions. Black Lives Matter. Well, I'm here to tell you, those people don't really care about Black lives. So, we really have to pay attention to who's full of shit and who's not. Who's taking advantage of a desperate situation and who's not. Look at Chaz Chop. What happens? Well, a lot of those people were not black, but made it to the top, y'all. That was tough. But I'm talking too, so talking and running up that hill, you know, that'll take a little bit more of your wind away. But if you want to avoid the coronavirus, you don't want to get COVID-19, you come out here, go outside, get that sunlight, get your cardio on. And I got to speed walk now to make up for my slow ascent up that hill. But it is what it is. So, anyway. They don't care about Black lives. See, if you want to talk about who cares about Black lives, look no further than Stone Mountain, Georgia. Look no further than Richmond, Virginia this past weekend, where heavily armed black people got together for a cause. And the Black Lives Mattered. That's why you didn't see any violence. Everyone was getting along. Everybody had a purpose, you know, the same purpose. The Boogaloo Boys showed up in Richmond, locked arms with Black Lives Matter, because to them, Black Lives really mattered. I'm talking about the BLM in Richmond. They didn't set up any autonomous zones. They didn't say, oh, let's keep the cops out. Because you know why? Because they probably understand that you can't just do that. You can't just snap of a finger, cops go away, and everything is better. No, as I always say, you need a transitional period. You need to get everybody on board. You need to get everybody trained up. People should be training up anyway. Cops and no cops. Cops are reactionary, okay? Cops are reactionary extortionists. That's what they are. They're not there to save your life. So you need to be working on how you can optimize your life-saving ability for you and your family. So anyway, speed up here. They showed up in Richmond, Virginia, locked arm with the Boogaloo Boys. You know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have said, look at them out there cooning. But you know what? I understand now that everybody's oppressed under the system. Everybody. Whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, we're all oppressed. Because guess what? We're not part of the elite class. It's mostly classism. Now, is there a disparity? I always say that. There's always there's a disparity between how black people are oppressed and white folks. But we're all oppressed. And once we come to that realization and say, look, we need to focus on the real enemy and get to work, it's going to continue. This division, this fighting amongst each other, oh man, it's not good, all right? So, and I would venture to say, you know, there's always some people in certain groups that have more extreme views. But when you look at the Boogaloo Boys, those Boogaloo Boys that, you know, maybe I'll go down Valley Ridge and come up. I'll show y'all that. Those Boogaloo Boys that showed up in Richmond, you know, they cared about black lives enough to say, we don't hate you. We're going to work with you to protect our Second Amendment rights. And that's what the common cause was. Protecting our rights to keep and bear arms. Protecting our freedoms. That's the most important thing in this whole situation. You understand? So if we focus on that, if we work on that, while at the same time, black people work on improving things in their impoverished neighborhoods, then, you know, it's all gravy. And speaking of which, I want to show you a black neighborhood, right? Where 90%, 95%, even through gentrification that's going on right now, of the people that own these houses are black. And this is a beautiful neighborhood, all right? I lived in this neighborhood from age 13 on until I was an adult. Look at this. Black owned. Look at that. Huh? Going down this treacherous hill right now. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to the bottom, work my way up. This is Valley Ridge. But this is Windsor Hills. Black owned. This is just a taste of it. Yo. Like, we know how to live. We know how to live peacefully, and we know how to flourish. We know how to prosper. And this is evidence of that. All black owned. All this shit. $1 million homes. Black owned. You know what I'm saying? Well manicured lawns. Black owned, beautiful. So, don't get it twisted. Anyway, so we We gotta stop generalizing, right? Oh, Black Lives Matter, don't care about Black lives. All Black lives. They do. It's just we have to, compartmentalize and figure out where we're going with this. It's a lot of work to do. And not everyone is up for the task. So let's consider that when we pass judgment on any of these groups. Look at all these black people out here getting this work in. This is what we do, y'all. Black people trying to get in shape. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful, black. I'll always love my black people. I will never turn my back on them. I will never go up to a white person and say, oh, don't confuse me with them Negroes. Oh, don't confuse me with them. I'm not like them other Negroes. Never. You will never hear me say that. I love all my people. I just understand that a lot of us need more work than others. Point blank and period. Anyway, peace out, y'all.